Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys make move on OL's much-maligned $82.5 million contract. It is one of the great ironies of how the Cowboys handle their contract situations. For star players who clearly deserve, and inevitably get, top-of-the-market payouts, Dallas tends to play coy, let negotiations drag on, and only resolve the issue when some kind of deadline looms, much as the team handled negotiations with quarterback Dak Prescott or wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. But for middling or injured players, guys the Cowboys could probably wait out a bit before inking to a major deal? Well, the Cowboys get ahead of the curve there, sometimes to their detriment. That was the case last year with lineman Terrence Steele, who was granted a contract extension worth $82.5 million, per Spotrac, in September of 2023, despite still coming back from a torn ACL, and struggling as he did. Steele had a rough go of things as he came back from the injury, rating a grade of 50.8 as a blocker at Pro Football Focus, which ranked him 256th out of 329 graded linemen on the season. Steele had the fourth worst grade of any lineman with at least 1,000 snaps played in 2023. This week, despite all that, the Cowboys made a move on Steele's bloated, albatross contract, converting $4.5 million in 2024 salary to a signing bonus and creating a bit more cap space in the process. That report came via ESPN's Todd Archer, who wrote on Twitter/X, "The Cowboys have reworked the contract of right tackle Terrence Steele, opening up $4.5 million in salary cap space. Add that to cap space saved on Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb contracts this year to the money that will most likely be carried over to 2025, $20 million plus." In other words, if you're hopeful that the Cowboys made the move on Steele as a way to bring in the likes of disgruntled Jets pass rusher Haason Reddick or possibly disgruntled receiver Davante Adams, don't hold your breath. The Cowboys still have a contract to work out with star linebacker Micah Parsons. And there's no move expected on Steele either, who was the starter at right tackle and played all 63 offensive snaps there in Week 1. In fairness to the Cowboys, Steele could yet prove worthy of his outsized contract if he can fully put the knee injury behind him. Just 3 weeks ago, Steele was being hailed for his performance in training camp. "I think he's had his best camp as a Dallas Cowboy," coach Mike McCarthy said in August. "You can just see the things he continues to work on." Even if Steele does not live up to his contract this year, the fact remains that only $50 million of the deal is guaranteed and the Cowboys can writhe free of paying him after next season. Certainly, 5 years and $82.5 million sounds a lot heftier than 3 years and $50 million, which is essentially what Steele's contract is if he underperforms. Steele did not get called for a penalty in Week 1, though he did allow a sack. He earned a PFF grade of 67.9, second best on the Cowboys' front. Though he was frequently derided for his performance last season, especially when he allowed 4 sacks in a Week 5 loss to the Eagles, Steele was proud of his overall body of work. "I was 6 months removed from surgery," Steele said, via the Cowboys' website. "I had some ups and downs, but who doesn't coming back from injury as fast as I did? People my size usually don't come back that fast. I'm proud of myself for what I did. I didn't miss a snap, and didn't miss a practice." The Dallas Cowboys exploited a new NFL rule to help them win in Week 1. Dallas Cowboys kicker Brandon Aubrey has already proven himself to be an extremely valuable weapon as a field goal kicker. He continued his campaign to be considered one of the best kickers in the league against the Browns with 4 made field goals. Aubrey tried something different. He was putting a weird spin on the ball and trying to land it away from the returners, forcing them to run up and catch kicks with unnatural spin. Aubrey forced 2 bobbled returns and scared the returns so much that they let the ball roll into the end zone for a 20-yard touchback as opposed to a 30-yard touchback. Brandon Aubrey was doing some stupid shit with his leg in this game. Guy forced 2 bobbled catches with this crazy knuckler, and had the 66-yard field goal nullified. While the Cowboys likely would have won without Aubrey's unique kickoffs, it is impossible to tell the way it altered returns. Would-be touchdowns could have been turned into uneventful returns because the returner had to take an extra second to secure the ball. I think everyone that sees it for the first time, it's really strange because you see the kickoff and I'm standing right here and, it's like you're in space. You never see that happen without everyone moving, San Francisco Special Teams Coordinator Brian Schneider said. And so, it's really like the music went off and everything. I was like in the twilight zone, and then when it happens, it's really fast. Returners are already uncomfortable with doing something in a completely new way. If Aubrey can exploit that discomfort, the Cowboys might get an extra game-changing turnover or prevent a big return play. Chiefs Travis Kelce heaps praise on Cowboys' Dak Prescott. During his career with the Kansas City Chiefs, Travis Kelce has seen up and close a pretty good quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, after all, has helped him 3 Super Bowl rings. While the Dallas Cowboys' Dak Prescott doesn't have nearly the playoff success, he does have the respect and adulation of not only Kelce but also his brother, former Philadelphia Eagles All-Pro center Jason. Prescott, who is only 2-5 in the playoffs, last weekend signed a 4-year, $240 million contract to become the NFL's highest-paid player and first to make $60 million per season. But instead of jealousy or criticism, on their wildly popular New Heights podcast, the Kelce brothers threw their version of verbal bouquets at the feet of Prescott. "Can you have a better day?" Jason asked rhetorically. "Signed a multi-$100 million contract in the morning and then go out that afternoon and win your first game of the season, that's a day. That's a fun experience. Well done, Dak." Travis, meanwhile, applauded. "He's such a good guy," said Travis, who spent time with Dak this offseason at his tight end university. "Couldn't be happier for him. Especially with all the speculation and the injury and having to prove himself all over again. Proved it last season and now he's the highest-paid player in the league." Prescott finished second in the MVP voting to the Baltimore Ravens' Lamar Jackson last season after leading the league in completions and touchdowns. He threw for 179 yards and a touchdown in Dallas' season-opening blowout win over the Cleveland Browns. "I'm gonna upset some Eagles fans, but I like where Dak's at right now," Jason said. "You can see in his interviews how much more comfortable he is with being a leader in the NFL. The last 2 years it just appears he's more confident on the field and off the field. I'm digging his entire vibe." Added Travis, "He's figured it out." Now, to appease Cowboys fans and owner Jerry Jones, Prescott needs to figure out a way to win multiple playoff games in the same season. Something Dallas hasn't done since 1995. Dak's a nice enough guy, but pretty sure Travis would like to see Texas native Mahomes win a 4th ring next February. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Travis Kelce? Leave your opinion in the comments.